Imagine standing at the foot of a mountain surrounded by thunder and lightning, knowing that you are about to receive the very foundation of morality and faith from the Creator of the universe. This breathtaking moment transformed the destiny of a nation and left an indelible mark on humanity's moral compass. This event gave the world the Ten Commandments, a divine code that would transcend time and cultures. In this story, we will explore each of these commandments as they were given to Moses on Mount Sinai, unveiling the deep meaning behind each instruction, the dramatic context of the revelation, and how these commandments still resonate today. Prepare yourself for a spiritual journey to the heart of faith, morality, and divine justice. The story of the Ten Commandments begins when the Israelites arrive at Mount Sinai about 3 months after leaving Egypt. In Exodus 19, God commands Moses to prepare the people for a special encounter with him. The Lord tells Moses that if the people diligently listen to his voice and keep his covenant, they shall be his own special possession among all peoples. This call was a proposal of a covenant in which God offered protection and blessings to the people of Israel, provided they obeyed his commandments. Moses ascended the mountain several times to communicate God's words to the people and relay the people's responses back to God. Before giving the laws, God commanded the people to purify themselves and warned that no one should touch the mountain, as his presence made it sacred. On the third day, thunder and lightning appeared. A thick cloud covered the mountain, and a loud trumpet blast was heard, causing the people to tremble. The Lord descended on Mount Sinai in fire, and the mountain smoked. In this setting of majesty and awe, Moses ascended the mountain to meet with God. It was here that God gave Moses the Ten Commandments, which form the core of the covenant. These commandments serve as fundamental rules for the moral and spiritual conduct of the Israelites and remain relevant as ethical principles across various religions today. The first commandment declares that the people shall have no other gods before God. This commandment establishes the foundation of monotheism. The Israelites, newly freed from Egypt, had been immersed in a culture where gods were worshipped in many forms, from the sun to the Nile River and from animals to statues. God declares that he alone is the true God and no other deity should take his place in the hearts of the Israelites. This commandment calls for exclusive worship and acknowledgement of God's sovereignty, contrasting with the prevalent polytheism of that time. The second commandment prohibits the creation of idols, reinforcing that God cannot be represented by material forms. Unlike the surrounding nations that created statues and idols for worship, the God of Israel is spiritual, transcendent, and infinite. This commandment establishes that any attempt to reduce God to a material object is a distortion of his nature. God warns that disobedience will result in severe consequences, extending even to future generations, but promises mercy to those who love him and keep his commandments. The third commandment instructs that the people shall not take the name of the Lord their God in vain. God's name was considered sacred, and its use required reverence. This commandment warns against invoking God's name carelessly, whether in false oaths or trivial conversations. Using God's name frivolously was seen as an act of irreverence, with serious consequences for those who did so. God's name represents his essence, and respect for his name reflects respect for God himself. The fourth commandment calls the people to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The Sabbath had already been established during creation when God rested on the seventh day. This commandment emphasizes the importance of weekly rest and spiritual renewal. God commands that no work should be done on the Sabbath, not only by the individual, but also by their family, servants, and even animals. The Sabbath was a sign of the covenant between God and Israel, reminding them both of creation and their liberation from Egypt. The fifth commandment, to honor your father and mother, establishes the importance of family. Honoring parents involves not only respect, but also care and obedience. This commandment is unique in that it comes with a promise. Those who honor their parents will live long in the land that God is giving them. Respect for parents was seen as foundational to the stability and prosperity of the nation, making family relationships crucial for social order. While the first 5 commandments focus on humanity's relationship with God, the next 5 address moral and ethical behavior among people. The sixth commandment, prohibiting murder, underscores the sanctity of human life. This commandment prohibits intentional murder, recognizing that life is a sacred gift from God. The seventh commandment emphasizes the importance of marital fidelity. Adultery not only violated the marital bond, but also threatened the stability of families and communities. Just as the relationship between God and his people required loyalty, the marriage covenant required faithfulness between husband and wife. The eighth commandment establishes respect for others' property. This commandment extends beyond material theft to include any form of exploitation or injustice. Stealing disrupts communal trust and undermines social harmony. It serves as a reminder that all individuals must act justly in their dealings with others. The ninth commandment protects the integrity of truth, especially in legal matters. In ancient Israel, justice depended heavily on personal testimony, and giving false testimony could lead to unjust outcomes. This commandment emphasizes the importance of honesty not only in legal proceedings, but in all aspects of life. The 10th and final commandment focuses on internal desires. Unlike the other commandments which address outward actions, this one targets the root of sin, unchecked desires in the heart. Coveting or intensely longing for what belongs to another can lead to other sinful actions such as theft or adultery. The 10 Commandments were more than just a legal code. They reflected God's holiness and his desire for Israel to be a holy nation. Through these commandments, God established the pillars of a new society based on justice, truth, faithfulness, and love for both God and neighbor. After proclaiming the commandments to the people, God gave Moses the stone tablets inscribed with his laws. These tablets represented the covenant between God and Israel. They continue to shape moral and spiritual thought today, transcending cultures and religious traditions. They remain a reminder of God's call to live with integrity, love, and faithfulness, not only toward him, but also toward others. If you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to subscribe and like for more content on faith and spirituality.